The introduction of police and crime commissioners will represent the most significant reform to policing that this country has seen in decades. By giving the public the ability to vote directly for an individual in virtually every force area, someone who will be responsible for both setting policing priorities but also for holding the Chief Constable to account for the delivery, the result should be a much more visible form of democratic accountability. Of course, we know that many people have expressed concerns about this policy, but that's for a variety of reasons, and I don't intend to revisit any of those arguments now. Ultimately, those of us here today are present because we want to be involved in making this new system actually work. We need to focus on the opportunity that this reform represents, to put the public right at the heart of policing, and not just in the neighbourhood, but right up to the national level as well. One of the key challenges, but also opportunities, is to recognise the very complex landscape within which local policing is delivered. And in recent years, what have we learnt about that landscape? Well, we know that criminals do not recognise or care about police force boundaries when they're committing crime. We know that the effective policing of our borders and stopping illegal drugs entering our country has a profound impact on crime in all of our neighbourhoods. We know that our ability to quickly and effectively identify criminals is dependent on our IT systems being able to talk with each other. And we know that effective treatment of drug and alcohol misuse has a genuine potential to reduce related crime. I could go on, and I'm sure that these are all concepts with which most of you are familiar. But I also hope that you're aware of some of the institutional and legislative response to these issues. The 1998 Crime and Disorder Act recognised the importance of agencies working together to deliver community safety. And this has now been reinforced in the Police Reform and Social Responsibility Act. The Act goes further, however, by recognising the importance of criminal justice agencies actively cooperating with each other to secure an efficient and effective criminal justice system. The role of the Serious Organised Crime Agency, and now the establishment of the National Crime Agency, which will become fully operational next year, more of which you'll hear later, recognises that link which exists between local criminality and national risk, harm and threat. The point is that for police and crime commissioners to effectively carry out their full statutory responsibilities, they will need to operate in an extensive network of partnerships, and these are not just local, but national as well. Over the next few months, the APCC will provide a range of briefings and opportunities for debate. There will be at least 2 further national events, and the initial dates for your diaries are the 20th of July and the 11th of September. And there will also be a series of written briefings, bulletins, and other useful communications. In your packs today, I hope you will find information on a variety of current topics of interest. And this is just a taster of the kind of material that we hope to provide all candidates with in the coming months. These will also obviously be available on our website and added to on a regular basis. We hope to cover the extensive and complex range of issues that PCC candidates will need to be familiar with as they prepare for their own election campaigns. Today's event, however, is specifically planned to provide an overview of the national policing landscape. Of course, many of you will be already familiar with this and with the nature of some of the organisations that you will hear about. But regardless of your current level of knowledge and understanding of that landscape, I'm certain that by the end of today, you will be left in no doubt that local policing services operate within a critical national framework. For those of you planning to stand in November, there are further points that I want you to consider. Questions that perhaps you should ask yourselves. What will this landscape mean for you? What do you think will be helpful? What will hinder you? What are the risks? And how might you actually want to influence, use, shape, or even change that national landscape as you seek to deliver on your local mandate? The Association of Police and Crime Commissioners is being designed to provide police and crime commissioners with an initial national platform. Our precursor organisation, the Association of Police Authorities, knows that it is essential that police and crime commissioners hit the ground running later this year. After all, the national landscape is not something that PCCs can be separate from, but something that they must be fully integrated into, providing leadership, shaping reforms, and securing the best possible outcomes for local communities. You'll hear more about the role of the APCC later this afternoon. I truly hope that you will find today both useful and informative. I began by saying that this is the first of our national briefings, and we're keen to ensure that our future events reflect the views and needs of those preparing to stand as a Police and Crime Commissioner in November. And so in your packs, you will find a brief feedback form. This is actually very important, as it provides you with an opportunity to tell us about the kind of information, briefings, or debates that you would find helpful and informative in the coming months. Time is, after all, of the essence. And as the day goes on, please take the trouble to complete that form, leave it on the registration table at the end of the day, because it will be invaluable to help us shaping our activity in a way that best meets all of your needs. But now to the programme itself, and I'm delighted to introduce our first speaker. By now, I'm sure you're all very familiar with the Association of Chief Police Officers and its current president, Sir Hugh Orde. He is a very well-known and formidable figure in the national landscape, a former senior officer in the Metropolitan Police Service, and more recently, of course, Chief Constable of the Police Service in Northern Ireland. Hugh is the ideal person to start today's programme, and I know he'll share his unique perspective on the implications of the reforms that are taking place. After our first two presentations, we'll devote some time to questions and allowing us to debate any of the issues that our speakers have raised.